You've heard this saying, the 21st century is the century of cities. Since 2008, more than half the world's population has been living in urban areas, in cities like Sao Paulo, Mexico City, Tokyo, Shanghai, Jakarta, Delhi, Istanbul, Lagos. These are all mega cities with populations of over 10 million, and they're expanding every day. In fact, it's projected that by 2050, about 2/3 of the total world population will be in cities. Today, we're going to consider 3 topics related to this trend. 1, what are the factors that motivate people to move to cities? 2, what are the fundamental challenges of cities growing so rapidly? And 3, what are some effective approaches to confront these challenges? All right then, first, the motivation, the why. Why do people move from rural areas to cities? Well, there's no simple answer. It's complex. There are various push factors and various pull factors. Push factors repel you, they push you away from something. And pull factors attract you, they pull you towards something. There are several factors that push people out of the countryside. These factors may be economic, environmental, social, or health-related. For example, a rural area may have limited job opportunities. In many countries, the quality of farmland is getting worse, so people are pushed out. In other cases, social reasons are the cause. Maybe there's a lot of violence, or perhaps there's religious or ethnic prejudice. Or for health reasons, a family may choose to leave because a family member needs medical care. All of these are push factors. The factors that pull people towards cities are often the inverse of the push factors. For example, in the city there is a pull of opportunity for better jobs, or there may be better opportunities for modern housing, or opportunities for a quality education, or better health care. Some people, too, are attracted to cities simply for the sense of freedom and excitement. But once an individual arrives in a city, there are often challenges. What are the challenges? Let's examine the case of a single individual named Daniel Ortiz. Daniel is a 19-year-old who migrated from his rural village in the central Campo Verde area of Peru to Lima, the capital city. Daniel's goal was to get a job and send money back to his family. Okay, he was pulled to the city by the opportunity to make money. But when Daniel got to Lima, he faced some major problems. First, affordable housing. Daniel didn't have any money saved, so he had to live with his cousin's family on the outskirts of Lima. Crowded conditions, not very convenient. And even if Daniel had had the money, many parts of the city center were dirty, noisy, and unsafe. As for a job, Daniel did manage to find one, but it required a 1-hour bus ride each way. And while his paycheck was larger than the pay he earned in the countryside, after bus fare and rent, he had very little money to send back to his family in Campo Verde. Daniel's troubles demonstrate the 3 most predictable challenges people in cities everywhere face: crowding, safety, and transportation. How do urban planners confront these challenges? Let's consider crowding, the first major challenge of urban planning. Currently, there simply isn't a sufficient number of housing units for all of the people moving to cities. All growing cities need more housing, but not just any housing. When designing new housing, urban planners must be sure that the housing units are affordable. They also have to be structurally sound and have basic services like electricity, water, and waste removal. For example, the Center for Livable Cities in Singapore designs new housing with a people-first focus. They want to assure that the new units are efficient, safe, and enjoyable to live in. According to Ku Teng Chi, the executive director of the center, cities are about what is best for people. The second challenge to urban planners is ensuring safety for residents. People need to feel safe. They need to be protected from violent crime and helped in emergencies. City planners have tried two different approaches. One is the intelligence center approach. This involves increasing video monitoring in the streets and alerting the police immediately to dangerous situations. This approach has been tried in Rio de Janeiro and has reduced the amount of violent crime. Another approach is the Healthy Streets program. This approach involves beautifying the city, tearing down old buildings and getting rid of trash, and creating more parks, art, and public entertainment. This approach has been tried in Philadelphia, in the eastern U.S., and with good effect. The third challenge urban planners face concerns transportation. People need to get around the city easily, cheaply, quickly, and safely. For people who live in cities, quality of life is related to mobility, how readily they can get from one place to another. As you know, most big cities are filled with cars and noisy traffic jams. Although people buy cars to solve their transportation problems, cars actually have a negative impact on mobility in cities. Two solutions have been tried. One is shared resources, small buses, shared bicycles and taxis, and efficient rail systems. For example, Curitiba, Brazil, has instituted a light rail system. This system has reduced commuting times by up to 50% and decreased CO2 levels as well. Another solution is coordinated systems of transportation. Sydney, Australia, for example, has initiated an adaptive traffic system of traffic flow. Traffic lights respond to the number of vehicles on the road. The system has decreased travel time during rush hour by 30%. So, as the examples demonstrate, some great ideas are being implemented in cities around the world. For next time, I'd like you to think like an urban planner. Research one city and see what that city is doing to address the challenges in crowding, safety, or transportation. Okay, see you then.
Everyone ready? Ben, are you there?
Yeah. Sorry.
Okay, so we're talking about urban migration, right? I'd like to start off with the reasons for urban migration. I hadn't considered all these reasons, the pushes and the pulls.
Me neither. I'd only thought of the pulls, like better job opportunities and excitement of city life.
Yeah, that stuff. The reasons are interesting. I never really thought about how cities really go through the same problems. For example, in Singapore...
Sorry, Ben. First, before that, I want to go back to the reasons for migration. What did the lecturer mean by pull factors are often the inverse of push factors?
Inverse?
Yes, what does the inverse of push factors mean?
Inverse means opposite, right? Like upside down. For example, limited jobs in rural areas push people out, while better job opportunities pull people to cities. So the push is the inverse of the pull.
So every pull factor has an inverse push factor.
Yeah, kinda.
Anyways, Ben, you're saying all cities face similar challenges. Can you expand that? Can you expand on that?
Yeah, like no matter what city you're in, anywhere in the world, you need similar things, like affordable housing, a sense of security, and good transportation.
Yeah, those are big challenges for cities.
I wonder, since cities are getting so crowded, maybe people should stop migrating there.
You know, that's just not realistic. I think city planners just have to try to make cities more livable.
Yeah, and the lecturer gave some clear ideas, right?